Do you have some sessions and attendees for an event that you need to track? If so, you have come to the right place to learn more. Besides helping you tackle that task, today we're going to learn how FileMaker's premier workplace innovative platform and the new event management template can help you transform your business. Good day, everyone, wherever you may be. My name is Steve Romig, and I'm responsible for technical training and content here at FileMaker. I'm thrilled to be here with you all today as we discuss one of the 3 recently released FileMaker templates, that being the event management template. And for the record, the other 2 templates that were recently released are job tracking and memberships. Since we released the templates a few weeks ago, the reception for them has been very positive, and you all have downloaded them over 5,000 times, which is very exciting to see. I'm going to start today's webinar by briefly going over the what's and the whys of the FileMaker template project. After that, we will spend a good chunk of time checking out the event management template itself and showcasing how it can address the problems you struggle with and how it can evolve with your business needs. And to wrap things up, we should have plenty of time at the end for questions. But before we get started, I have some brief housekeeping details to go over with you. For the best experience during today's webinar, it is strongly recommended that you participate using a broadband connection. And in the unlikely event that you run into any problems along the way, the technical support staff at Citrix has your back and is here to help. You can reach them at the phone number listed on your screen, which is 888-259-8414. And as I mentioned, I'll answer as many questions as I can at the end of the webinar. But you don't have to wait until the end to submit your questions or comments. You can do so at any time from the GoToWebinar control panel by clicking on the questions section. From there, you can simply type in your question or comment and click send. So that's it for all the housekeeping, so let's dive right in. The FileMaker templates are great resources to solve problems and achieve some quick, easy victories for you and your business. You can own the customization of these templates yourself, or if you choose to, you can engage with one of the thousands of FileMaker developers around the world to help you extend a template to meet your personal or business needs. Now, whichever path you choose, the important thing to note is that the FileMaker templates are an easily accessible resource to help you escape the work ruts you might find yourself in. And since most of us are eager to get out of ruts, you might be wondering how you can get your hands on these templates. Well, it couldn't be easier. You can download the templates directly from our website at www.filemaker.com/templates. They're also available under the Learn menu in the website navigation as indicated by the red arrow on my slide. All 3 of the Phase 1 templates have their own dedicated web page providing additional information and videos for you to check out. And the best part is the templates are free. Yes, free to download at any time. In fact, in just a few minutes, I'll take you on a quick tour of the dedicated event management web page. So if you have any questions, hopefully they'll be answered then. So when you download a template, what exactly do you get? Well, you start off with something called a core file. In fact, you're going to hear me mention core file a lot during this webinar. A core file has just the right amount of functionality to get you started managing your events right out of the box. Core files use best design practices, are easy to use, and have a consistent professional look, as you can see from these screenshots. But the real secret sauce of the FileMaker template project, especially if you want to own the customization of the templates yourself, are what we call the build-ons. Build-ons are a list of suggested features or workflows that you can incorporate into your core file through a series of easy-to-follow online tutorials. Each core file has 8 build-ons to choose from that you can mix and match any way your business needs take you. Need help with managing expenses for an event? We've got a Buildon for that. If you want to use your iPad to help you schedule things during your event, we have a Buildon for that. What if you want to quickly print badges for attendees for your event? Well, guess what? We have a Buildon for that too. Regardless of which Buildon or Buildons you want to incorporate into your core file, the instructions walk you through what is required step by step. And the beauty of the Buildons is that you can pick and choose the best way to solve your problems at the right times without confusing your users with features they won't use or don't need. Now, we here at FileMaker are super excited about the prospects of the FileMaker templates and are equally excited to see the directions that you take them all in. But we are also aware that for many of you, the reason you are attending today's webinar is paved with technology and innovations that, for whatever reason, haven't worked out for your company the way you hoped they would. Maybe that technology was supposed to increase your company's ability to better provide a service, but you still find yourself wasting time looking for or searching for unrelated documents. Or maybe you are spending more time than you should working around the limitations of your current solution instead of being more productive in solving problems. Whatever the reason is, chances are it's frustrating and probably not very fun. And maybe the reason is your company is using appliance apps, or apps which handle a task really well, but are not designed to expand or evolve with the individual needs of your business. These apps cannot expand or evolve for your business needs because you don't have the ability to customize them yourself. That small app you downloaded from the internet a few years ago isn't overnight going to magically turn into a mature and full-featured customer relationship management solution that meets all your needs. Alternately, maybe your company uses a larger enterprise system, which is extremely powerful, but probably not very customizable without the help from your ID department or someone in a professional services organization. Chances are, by the time they get around to making your changes, your needs and asks for the system have changed yet again. The point here is that the FileMaker Workplace Innovative Platform perfectly fills the gap between appliance applications and enterprise systems. You will succeed because FileMaker's Workplace Innovative Platform allows you to create and customize apps like the event management template and continue to quickly modify them as your business needs evolve. These same custom apps can be shared easily with your team members using FileMaker Server or FileMaker Cloud, so that those team members can also access the data they need using any device they choose. And your custom apps can be easily integrated with other software services and other apps so that you remain a leader in your industry. With the FileMaker platform and FileMaker templates, you will have the right starting point powered by the right platform with support for the right developer community to succeed. So with that, it's time to check out the event management template and how the FileMaker's Workplace Innovation Platform can transform your business. So today we're going to put ourselves in the shoes of a small software training company that has to manage all the different training sessions that they have and the trainers conducting those sessions. Currently, our training company is using an unshared Excel spreadsheet. Shame on them, to manage the different training events that they are part of. In addition, they are manually entering in those events into a cloud calendar. While a familiar scenario for many of us out there, we all know there's a better way to manage all of this and a perfect opportunity to break out of a work rut. So the features and functionality of the event management template look like a perfect place for our training company to begin. The first order of business is to get the events our company is tracking out of Excel and into a more centralized and accessible custom app. This alone will allow our company and its employees to be more productive and will be a big win overall. So let's walk through the event management core file and find out how we can easily manage all of our trainers and training sessions. Okay, so the first time that you launch any of our templates, you are presented with something that we call the dashboard. So all the templates launch looking at a screen similar to this. You'll see a logo, the name of the template or the name that you provide the template. We'll get into that in a second. And then a series of icons. Now, these icons are designed in a way that there's really no right or wrong place to start. In our case, maybe some of us will want to start entering in events, while others may want to start with attendees or sessions. It doesn't matter. And the great thing is, at the end of the day, they all link and intermingle with each other. So you don't have to worry about having to go into each one of these individually, because chances are you're going to touch them all. So for this example, I'm going to start by creating a new event. So typically when you click on something from the dashboard, you're presented with a list view. So these are all of the events that we currently have tracking in our event management system. Now at a glance, I can see things like the number of attendees, I can see the start and the end date, location, and whatnot. But for our example, I want to create a brand new one. So down here, there's a button that says Add Event. So I'll go ahead and do that. And it provides me some information that I need to fill in here. So I'm just going to do FileMaker Training 2. I'm going to give it a start date of sometime maybe in the future. We'll say sometime next week. It's going to be a one-day training. So we'll do it on the 27th. And it's actually going to take place here at FileMaker. So for those of you who don't know, FileMaker is located in beautiful Santa Clara, California. It's pretty close to San Jose and San Francisco. All right, so we got all that information in there. And if I needed to, I could put in a description or some other information, but this is what we need just to get the ball rolling. But you'll see along the top here, I have the ability to add some additional information. So for example, I've just created my event, but now I want to add some attendees to that event, people that are going to be attending my training. So I can tap on this. And because this is a new event, obviously there aren't any attendees here, but we have a database full of attendees that have come to previous trainings, and I can add them from the database here. So maybe I'll add Donna and Robert and Deborah. But I also have somebody new coming to a training. I'll just add myself. So we'll say Steve Romig is coming to the training. I could fill in all this other information here. For the sake of the webinar, none of these are set to be required fields, so I'm just going to leave them blank for right now. It's not going to hurt anything. But you'll see that when I close this, I now have these 4 people registered. We haven't checked them in yet. We'll get to that in a second. But that is a quick way of being able to add an event and then add some attendees to it. But an event isn't any good without maybe some sessions. So right next to attendees, I have a place to add some sessions. And again, because this event is brand new, there aren't going to be any sessions, but I can quickly add some. So a typical training usually starts with an introduction. So we'll do that. And you can see there's some intelligence built in here already. It knows that I'm doing this particular event, so it automatically fills it in for me. So that's great. And it also fills in the date for me as well. So we're going to start this training at 8 o'clock. And the introduction might go for about 30 minutes. And the location is at FileMaker. And the category is training. And again, I could put in a description there if I want. So if I go back to sessions again, I can see my intros in there and I can add another session. I'll go ahead and do that. We'll say intro to schema. And again, same date. And we're going to start that one at 8:30. And that's a pretty intense topic, so we'll go a couple hours on that. And we use some of the functionality that's already built into FileMaker, like type ahead. So I don't have to type in the same stuff over and over again. If I start typing it, FileMaker's smart enough to realize that I'm typing in training and it fills it in for me. So we've got a pretty good session list going here. You can see I can just add as many as I need to here. But now let's go back to it's now March 27th, and it's time to start checking people in. So how do we go about doing that? So if I go back to attendees right now, and I click on just one of them, I'll come up with a card window on top of the window that I was on that allows me not only to cancel their registration, but also to check them in. So see what happens behind the scenes here. As I click on checked in, you can see that Donna has now gone from not being checked in to checked in. And I can do that for all of the other attendees there. So that's a quick way of being able to not only keep track of my attendees, but also to check them in too, to make sure that they get credit for the training session that they're going to go through. So throughout the last couple minutes, you've seen me navigating back and forth through various screens here, but I want to dive a little bit deeper into how you can go about navigating throughout the event management template, because there's a bunch of different ways you can go about doing it. Now, you may have noticed that I used some links that we created in here. So in this card window, for example, if I clicked on Event Training 2, it would take me directly back to the event details for that particular event. Or if I wanted to drill down a little bit more, I could click on Donna Alexander and I would be taken directly to her card, and I could get information like her email address or her phone number or where she lives. But there's more to the navigation than just that. So we've got the links, but I do want to point out over here on the left-hand side, on many of our detailed pages, we have a list of all of the attendees in this case, and I can click on each one of them and get the details for that particular attendee. This is known as a master detail layout. This is a new feature that was introduced in FileMaker Pro 17 and has made making a list or a layout like this super duper easy. Previous to FileMaker Pro 17, you could do this functionality, but it required you to know a few FileMaker tricks, and it wasn't as easy as basically a 1, 2, 3 like it is right now in FileMaker 17. So that's another way that you can navigate by using the master detail. Now over here on the right-hand side on most layouts, we also have this little box here. Many people refer to this as the hamburger menu. You can call it what you want, but when you click on it, you'll see that it lists all of the things that are on the dashboard currently. So I can get back to sessions if I needed to, or I can go back to attendees if I needed to, or I can get back to events, whatever. We also down here at the bottom have a convenient way of closing the app if you want to use it. But the one thing that is missing here that many people bring up is, this is great, Steve, but how do I get back to the actual dashboard itself? Well, we kicked around the idea of putting the dashboard in the hamburger menu, but we also wanted to be able to expose customers to other aspects of FileMaker. So we purposely didn't put it there, but all of these are just taking you to different layouts within the event management solution. So how you would normally switch to layouts if you didn't automate it yourself is you would go over here to the layout menu. So right now I can see that I'm on the attendee detail layout, but if I click on this list, the only option that's visible there is dashboard. And if I click on dashboard, sure enough, I'm taken back to the dashboard. Now, while I'm up here in the status toolbar, it's also worth mentioning this is another way that you can navigate through the database's data as well. And that is using the stuff that's built into the UI. This is the record picker, so you can see I'm moving from record to record using that. But we also purposely exposed the status toolbar because we wanted you to be able to have access to things like finding and sorting records, things that might not necessarily be built into the templates, but are still an important feature and function that you might want to use if you're using the templates. All right, let me take back my slides here. Okay, so we're off to a great start managing some of the fundamental areas of our business. But I know what you might be thinking. Steve, this all looks great, but what if I need more than what the core file provides? What can I do? Can I make changes on my own? So being the smart guy that I am, I anticipated those questions and I have an exciting answer for you. To begin with, it's worth noting that all the FileMaker templates are 100% completely unlocked. So you can make the changes you need to make anytime you want. Basically what that means is you can do anything that you want with these templates. We do not limit the changes or the adding of functionality that you might do with these templates. You can do anything you want with them. So for the next few minutes, I want to point out some of the design elements that are already included in all of the FileMaker templates that will make your job of customizing the templates to fit your needs a whole lot easier. All right, so we're going to switch back to the file here. So you may have noticed, let me go back to the dashboard. You may have noticed that at the screen here, we have a logo and we have a name. And you'll also notice that this logo is used throughout the database in various places, usually up in the upper left-hand corner. Well, we made it easy for you to make small customized changes to tailor it to your particular needs or your particular company. So down here at the bottom of the dashboard, we have a button here that says Settings. And if I click on it, it gives me a few options. The first one is it allows me to change that logo. So I have a logo here on my desktop. I'm just going to draw. We'll do it this way. We'll click on Edit, and we'll click on that, and we'll click on Insert. And just like that, it's not a big change, but I've customized the logo to fit my training logo. And the title of my company, we'll just call it FileMaker Training. And one thing to point out, for those of you who are familiar with FileMaker Pro Advanced, you'll know that the product ships with sample and starter apps. And one of the things that we hear over and over again are, those apps are great, but when I first start using them, I don't really understand how they work because they don't have any sample data in them. So what we've done with these templates is we've included sample data. Now we know that if you start using, in this case, the event management template, you're not going to want to see that sample data in there, right? You're going to want to start entering in your own data. So we created a button here that quickly and easily gets rid of all of the sample data within the database and allows you to start putting in your own. I'm not going to touch that right now because I'm going to need to use it for other parts of my demo here, but I just wanted to point out that is a way that you can get rid of the sample data very easily. So now you'll look, hey, the dashboard looks a lot more professional. I've got my own logo there. I've got my name. And just to prove, you can see the logo now shows up everywhere else. That's great. But what else can I do? Well, undoubtedly, you're going to want to create new layouts and new other aspects of the database here. So what are some of the tools that we provided that make it easier for you to do that? Well, what I'm going to do now, currently I've been in browse mode the whole time. That is the mode that you use for most of your data entry. But if you want to change the look and feel of how your data is presented on the screen or printed out or in a PDF or whatever, you need to edit layouts. So we have a button over here on the status toolbar that allows me to switch to edit mode. Layout mode. And when I do that, my screen looks a little bit different. This is where I can move layout objects around and create new layouts if I need to. So let's focus on creating a new layout. Generally, when you create a new layout in a solution, you want it to look the same as all of the other layouts in there. It gives it a nice, professional, polished look, and it doesn't look like layouts were just bolted onto each other, and it just kind of looks messy. So what we've done is we've included some layout templates in all of the template files that give you a good start towards creating brand new layouts. They have the themes and the styles in there. So if you drag in fields, they'll be the right size, buttons will be the right color, things like that. So to get to those, they're all located in this section right here that says blank. So I can see I have one for a card window. I've got one if I wanted to create a new detail layout. Now it doesn't look like there's a lot there because we're going to leave it up to you to put the fields and the layout objects on there that you want. But you'll see it already has a hamburger menu. It already has the beginnings of the field that's going to contain the logo and a title and whatnot. But this is a very easy way to get started creating your own layouts in FileMaker while assuring that they're going to look the same as the layouts that you currently have. Now, another popular feature of FileMaker is scripts. Now, if you're not familiar with scripts, scripts are a way of automating tasks that you do over and over and over again. So for those of you old school people out there, they're kind of like macros or things like that. So scripting is just our way of automating tasks that you want to make sure are done the right way every single time and that you don't have to do them over and over and over again. So scripts are accessed, as you might expect, under the scripts menu, and we have something called Script Workspace. This is where you build all of your scripts. Now, we've also included some templates for scripts as well. So you'll see here we have a simple template script. It has the beginnings of some places where you might want to put comments. It has some common features that you might want to use in all of your scripts. If you're going to be passing something called a parameter is just some data that you're passing from one script to another script. We have a beginnings of a script that allow you to do that. So if you're going to be creating your own scripts, I would highly recommend that you check out the example scripts folder within the templates because it'll give you a good start of what you're going to need to do to make a nice script. So the last thing I want to point out, let me switch back to the desktop details, is something called, let's say we wanted to modify this to add a fifth option. We like that we can keep track of attendees. We like the fact that we can keep track of sessions and notes. But what if we also wanted to keep track of, say, a map? So we know where this particular training event is taking place. So there's something in FileMaker called a tab control. But for those of you who are familiar with a tab control, you might be looking at this going, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't look like any tab control I've ever seen before. It looks pretty complicated, like this blue line that highlights underneath it, and there's no boundaries around it. What's going on here? Well, I will assure you this is a tab control, because if I switch to layout mode and I double click on it, it brings up the tab control setup. And this is actually where I want to be to add a fifth tab. So as I said, I wanted to create a map. So I'm going to type in the word map here. I'm going to get very creative. Click on create. Click on OK. Let's go back and browse and see what happens here. So I've got my overview. I got my attendees. I got my sessions. I got my notes. They all have blue lines under them. I click on maps. There's no blue line there. What happened? Let me switch back to layout mode, and I'm going to stretch this screen a little farther out, and you'll see we've got some hidden stuff over here. Anything in this gray area doesn't show up when you're in browse mode, so you can put different things in here that might be useful for you as you're designing your solutions. So sure enough, there's a blue line here that I can just simply copy, or I'm going to hold down the Option key, I'm going to drag it over, and if all goes well, I'm going to put it right underneath map. If I wanted to, I could resize it a little bit. Let's just make sure that worked. I'm going to go back to browse, click on notes, click on map. I got a blue line. That took about 5 seconds. So you might think creating a map is going to be hard too, but it's real easy using something called a web viewer. Web viewers have been around for a long time, and they do basically what they sound like they do, and that is they allow you to view data from a website. So I'm back here in layout mode. I'm going to make sure I'm on the tab screen, or the map tab, and I'm going to bring in a web viewer. Now along here at the top, we've got some tools. And this one right here is the web viewer tool. I'm going to drag a box. It's got to fit within my tab control. That looks pretty good. And it comes up with the web viewer setup. Now we have a whole bunch of default settings here, and I'm going to use Google Maps. And I already know that I have the address information because I just entered it when I created my initial event. So I'm going to pull that information directly from there. So specify field. My address is street. My city is city. My state, as you would imagine, is state. And finally, I need the zip code to make things work. And click on OK. I don't need to do anything else. Now there's a bunch of code. You don't need to be concerned about that. We do all of that for you. But if I switch back to browse mode, let's see what happens. So we got 5201 Patrick Henry Drive. If I don't have any typos, I click on the map. And for those of you who have never been to the wedge before, this is where FileMaker is located. Just like that, I created a map that I can use to find where I need to go without having to look up the map maybe on my phone or on the web before I leave. Okay. So let's fast forward to the future now. We've been using the core file for a while, made some minor changes to it here and there, but we're finding that we need some additional functionality to help with some other areas of our training business. For example, with a focus on live training, it might be helpful to store some of our training assets directly in our solution so that they're centrally located and accessible by other trainers on our staff. Or perhaps we want to easily keep track of any additional expenses that go into one of our training sessions. And maybe it would be helpful to know what staff members are assigned to the different events. These tasks and many others like it can be handled by the use of build-ons. Now remember, a build-on consists of easy to follow instructions that allow you to extend the functionality of a core file to support your business needs. So let's check out how build-ons can help us solve these issues. But before we do that, let's take a step back and see how you can learn more about this template and the other templates, including finding a list of the available build-ons for a particular template. We'll do this by taking a quick tour of our website. So I've already loaded up the landing page for the templates. Each FileMaker template has its own dedicated web page. So if I scroll down here a little bit, you'll see the first round of templates that we have. And these dedicated web pages on our website provide detailed information and videos about that particular template. Now, the format for these dedicated pages is all the same. So I'm only going to show you the event management one today, but know that the same resources are available for all of the templates. So if I click here, we'll go to the event management template. And starting from the top, we come across a link to a video. All templates have a short animated video that provide a high-level overview of what that particular template was designed to do. And a little farther down, we see some high-level bullet points outlining what the event management template can do for you, many of which we've already discussed. And a little farther down there, we have another link to another video which provides an abbreviated screen walkthrough of the different layouts and functions of a particular template. Now at this point, you're probably pretty excited and probably want to get your hands on the event management template as soon as possible. So the next link right here is a link to download the template itself. Now it's worth noting that this link takes you to a form that provides an option for downloading the trial version of FileMaker Pro 17 Advanced as well. So even if you don't currently own a copy of FileMaker Pro 17 Advanced, you can check out the templates today by downloading the full featured trial along with the template. And lastly, at the bottom of the screen is a list of the build-ons that are available for the event management template. As you can see, there's a little bit of everything here, from printing badges to creating iPad-friendly workflows. And while not obvious, it's worth noting that great care was taken so that each build-on exposes you to a different aspect or feature of the FileMaker platform. In other words, the build-on directions are not the same, like create some fields, add some objects to a layout, blah, 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 etc. You'll be exposed to creating a portal in one build-on, designing iOS-friendly layouts in another one, scripting in a few, and so on and so on. So let me show you what a typical build-on looks like. We'll just choose attachments here. Now the format of the build-ons pretty much mirrors what you find in the Custom App Academy. So if you're familiar with the Custom App Academy, you might feel right at home with these build-ons. Each one of them has a brief overview with a link at the bottom to dive into the page where the build-on is itself. Now, most build-ons consist of various tasks or steps that break down development into smaller chunks while walking through everything step by step. They include a bunch of screenshots and text formatting so it's easy to follow along. And in the end, you'll have extended the functionality of the core file by customizing things yourself. Now, it's worth noting that all of the build-ons stand on their own and do not depend on one another to function. This means you can add whatever build-on you want in whatever order you want, whenever you want. And lastly, if you find that all the build-ons would be helpful for your business, you can download a special version of the Event Management core file with all the build-ons already included. In fact, to show some of the functionality of some of the build-ons for the Event Management template, I'm going to use the version of the Event Management template that has all the build-ons already included. That one is right here. So at the surface, this looks just like the Event Management core file, and it should. Although you'll notice that instead of having 3 icons, it has 4. We've added a staff icon as well. So what I want to do is show you some of the build-on functionality in action. So the first one I want to show you is the attachments functionality. So I'm going to go to Sessions. I'm going to click on that. This again looks the same. I'm just going to click on one of these, and you'll notice that there's an additional tab here for attachments. And if I click on it, it has some attachments here already that I can look at if I want to, but I can add my own. So for example, if I want to add an attachment, I can take my speaker notes. Drag and drop does not want to work. So we're going to take my speaker notes this way. And just like that, I've added my speaker notes, and they are now centrally located. So if somebody else other than me is conducting this training, they could easily grab the speaker notes and be on their way. So another thing that the build-ons allow you to do for event management is track expenses. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard again, and we're going to drill down into one of these events. We'll just pick this one. And you'll see there's a whole bunch of new tabs here as well. So I'm going to click on expenses, and you can see we're already tracking some of the expenses here. We had to buy some pretty expensive pencils at 15 bucks, but let's go ahead and add a new one. I'll just show you how easy it is. Maybe we also need to buy some paper. Oops. And we need to buy that by the weekend, and that's going to be about $40. And the category is training, and any additional notes that I might need. And you can see how easy it is for me to keep track of my expenses. So not only is it giving me a line items here, but it's also giving me the total up here at the top. And if I needed to, I could create an expense report, which turns it into a PDF, and I could quickly email it to my client so he knows how much we're going to bill him for the supplies that we needed. And lastly, let's talk about staff. So the staff part of it is super powerful because it allows you to track which staff members or which employees are going to be working on this particular event. So if I click on Add Staff, I can choose all of the existing employees that we have. So we'll go with Blinky here, and he's going to be the main trainer. And maybe we'll add a helper. We'll say Christine is going to help him out. And so you can see that we're adding a list of all of the people that are going to be working on this particular event. Now, the nice thing is, as I said earlier, there's a whole bunch of things going on in the background here. So FileMaker is also keeping track of what these two staff people are working on. So if I click on one of them, and then I go to their particular record, I can see that sure enough, Binky here has been assigned to do the introduction to the FileMaker platform, and he's also an assistant for something that happened a few months ago. So again, without me having to do anything, it linked all of that stuff together. I dare you to try to do that with an Excel spreadsheet. There's no way you can. Okay, and just like that, we've expanded the functionality of our business in just a few minutes using the Event Management template. With it, we now have more time to focus and be productive during our events and day-to-day tasks, and therefore we can make better business decisions to drive our small training company forward. Now, this has just been a quick overview of the FileMaker Event Management Template, but it really only scratches the surface of what you can do. As I'm fond of saying, the FileMaker platform is really only limited by your imagination. We know many of you will take these templates and the other templates in directions we did not even consider. We look forward to seeing what you can do with them and read about your success stories on the FileMaker community. But the success stories are already rolling in. Take this one from Wings Unlimited. Wings Unlimited is a meeting, incentive, and event engineering company executing events worldwide. Their events support groups ranging in sizes from 20 people all the way up to 1,500 attendees. They have detailed knowledge of tens of thousands of vendor locations to deliver events globally. Wings Unlimited delivers unique, one-of-a-kind experiences based on the expertise of their team and on their data. They might arrange a regatta, hire aerial acrobats, or bring concept cars to an event. However, life can get in the way and events can change, be it a flight delay, change in the weather, or a VIP making last-minute requests. Because of these unexpected curveballs, Wings Unlimited have to maintain changing data and work everywhere, from their office, the airport, hotel, a concert venue. Basically, in other words, they got to work everywhere. Up until recently, all of their extremely important client and event information was kept in these enormous, back-breaking, easy-to-damage binders. Reminds me a little bit of my high school backpack. Now, Wings Unlimited first modified a starter template and built themselves an app to replace this big binder. Now, when a customer asks at a dinner to confirm her airport transportation for the next day, April at Wings Unlimited has the data at her fingertips, and she can share changes with the team immediately using the FileMaker platform. Now, to learn more about the Wings Unlimited story and other successes just like it, check out the customer story section on our website at www.filemaker.com/solutions/customers. So as we wrap up today's webinar, now would be a great opportunity to head over to our website and download the event management template for yourself and see how it can have a meaningful impact in your business. Check out the core file and try out some of the build-ons that make sense for your business needs. From there, you can check out the many other resources we have available for developers, including the FileMaker community and the Custom App Academy, which includes dozens of short instructional videos on how to master various aspects and features of the FileMaker platform. Also, our website has great resources and tools to help you find a developer in your area if you are interested in expanding the functionality of these templates, but you might not have the time or product knowledge to do so. All right, so it looks like we have plenty of time for some questions. And as a reminder, if you want to ask a question or make a general comment, open up your go to webinar control panel, click on the questions section and enter that question and click send. And with that, I'm going to open up the panel here and we'll check out some of the questions you guys have been asking. So the first question is, can I use FileMaker Pro 15 to use these templates? So the short answer is yes. However, the slightly more complicated answer is these templates were designed with FileMaker Pro 17 in mind. They use some features and functionality of FileMaker Pro 17 that would not work if you opened them up in previous versions of FileMaker. Probably the biggest one that comes to mind would be the master detail functionality that I pointed out earlier. If you opened the templates up in a previous version of FileMaker, that area of the screen would be blank. In addition, we also have modified the templates so that they're blocked initially when you try to open them up in other versions of FileMaker. You can go into the file itself and into the preferences and change that if you want. And there's nothing stopping you from modifying these templates so that they do work in previous versions of FileMaker. But out of the box, they only work with FileMaker Pro 17 Advanced. So another question is, I downloaded a trial, but it's already expired. What can I do? Well, the quick answer for that is you can buy the product. But if you're not quite ready to do that yet, what you can do if you have access to another machine is just install the trial on another machine and continue to evaluate FileMaker Pro on that second machine. But eventually, you'll probably and hopefully want to get around to buying the product yourself. Let's see, looking at some other questions here. Can I connect this file to my existing FileMaker solutions? So the answer to that is absolutely. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. As I mentioned, I think a couple of times, the FileMaker templates are all completely unlocked, and there's nothing special about them. At the end of the day, they're just another FileMaker file. So if you want to link them to your other solutions, you have no reason that you can't do that. Let's see. Somebody else asked, can attendees do self-check-in? So the templates aren't totally designed to do that, but there's no reason why you couldn't set up a computer that allowed them to do that. As long as the file is being hosted, maybe with FileMaker Server or FileMaker Cloud, all the data will be centrally located. And then you could design your own layout that would be maybe a little more attendee friendly than maybe the one that I showed you, which is designed more for staff. But I could envision seeing something like a customer or an attendee comes to a computer, they do a search for their name, and then it could just be a simple click here to register type of thing. Can this be used on a website for attendees to sign up? So the short answer for that is also yes, although the templates or the core file itself wasn't designed specifically to be put on the web, but there's nothing stopping you from using, say, instant web publishing, or for those of you who are a little bit more savvy, you can use custom web publishing. But there's nothing stopping you from, again, creating a web-friendly layout that would allow attendees to sign up as long as the file is being hosted with either FileMaker Server or FileMaker Cloud. So another person asked, so the FileMaker event template export event, does it export expenses to QuickBooks? So out of the box, FileMaker Pro Advanced itself does not export directly to QuickBooks. However, with plugins and some creativity, you absolutely can do it. There's many third parties out there that have links that allow you to, I'm sorry, not links, that have plugins that allow you to connect directly to QuickBooks, or quite frankly, to hundreds of other applications out there. It doesn't necessarily have to be QuickBooks. There are plugins for other applications that allow you to communicate very easily with other third parties. Let's see. How do other staff share the template on their own, on their iPad or their phone? Is there a link we send them? So if you are sharing this file with FileMaker Cloud or FileMaker Server, an iPhone or an iPad running FileMaker Go could easily access these files just by using the sharing capabilities that are already built into FileMaker Go. But with that said, you could also create favorites on the iPad or the phone, so they could just simply tap on something. You can also send them a link in an email that would automatically open in FileMaker Pro. So FileMaker Go. So there's a bunch of different ways that you could get somebody access to your solution using an iPad or an iPhone if they have FileMaker Go, and even if they don't have FileMaker Go, because remember a couple of versions ago, we made FileMaker WebDirect compatible for iOS devices as well and mobile devices in general. So your customers don't even need to have FileMaker Go. It would be great if they did, but if they don't, they have a solution by using a WebDirect on their mobile devices also. Let's see, can you import data from a spreadsheet to pre-populate attendee fields? Absolutely. That is, I didn't show that, but if you had data already in another data source, an Excel spreadsheet, a comma-separated text file, whatever, you can easily import your data into FileMaker Pro and into these templates. You would just need to line up the data with the fields that you want it to go in, and you'll be off and running. Let me see if we have any other questions. We have one here that says, can I connect to a calendar? So again, that's going to require a little bit more development work, and more than likely is going to require some form of FileMaker plugin. For those of you who aren't familiar with what a plugin is, it's just a way of extending the functionality of FileMaker out of the box that it wasn't initially designed to do. I can tell you there are at least a half dozen, if not more, calendar plugins. They're all really good. So I would recommend that you check those out and see which one works best for you, in which case you'd be able to very easily incorporate a calendar into this template or any of your other solutions. Let's see, can you send email with attachments for updated event schedules? So FileMaker certainly supports emailing, and it certainly supports sending out an email with attachments. So the answer to that is yes, you can absolutely do that. The template is probably not designed initially to do that, but that would be a very simple modification on your part in order to make that happen. So the answer is definitely, yeah, you can do that. Let's see, we have time for a couple of more. Somebody asked, I want to keep track of my shipments for my event. Can I connect to something like FedEx? That's a great question, because that uses another new or relatively new piece of technology on the FileMaker platform called the REST API. This is just a way of being able to communicate with hundreds, if not more, web data sources around the internet. And so with a little development work, you could absolutely talk to FedEx or any other website for that matter that has some API technology as a backend. So you can use our data API or our REST API, and you could very easily integrate your web pages with your templates or your FileMaker solutions. Let me see if we have any other questions. This is going to be recorded, so if there was some information that you weren't able to jot down, once the recording is posted, you can go back and watch it at your leisure. Let's see, can you send it? We have maybe time for one more here. If I can find one that hasn't been asked already. Let's see. So yeah, we will send out a link, or there will be, as I said, there will be a link to how you can download the templates and the recordings in the presentation here. So you can just download the presentation when you get a chance, and you'll have the links for all of that stuff. All right, so that's all the time we have today. So on behalf of myself and everyone here at FileMaker, it was an extreme pleasure to meet with all of you today. Hopefully we'll see you again on some future webinars, and that you're super excited about the templates and you'll go and download them today and start checking them out. So thanks again and have a great day.